One of the things I love more than reading is remembering what I read, and I'm very good at forgetting what I read. So that is where this bad boy comes in, and I'm just going to show you kind of what my Commonplace book is used for, how I use it, and how simple and useful of a tool it really is. What even is a Commonplace book? In a nutshell, it essentially is a storage unit, a mini encyclopedia, if you will, of just the highlights, important information you come across whenever you're reading. It doesn't have to be solely from reading books. It could be really anything you come across that you don't want to forget. This is what you use to jot it down, don't forget about it, and even, elaborate on it, comment your own understanding. I'll get into that a little bit later, but in a nutshell, that is what this is for. This is a storage unit for stuff you do not want to forget while you're reading. It also essentially is just a screenshot of the stuff you want to remember, because I know for sure I never want to remember everything I read. I never want to be that guy. That would almost be a curse to remember every single detail. You only want to remember the good stuff, the highlights, or even stuff you disagree with. It doesn't have to be necessarily good. It can be stuff that you really stand against or stuff you really disagree with. I read a lot of philosophy, so that comes with a lot of disagreement, a lot of dissecting passages and opinions and thoughts. So it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be agreeable. But either way, if it stands out is the important thing, and you want it noted down. There was a while where I wasn't reading at all, and then one day I picked up Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and this was really my first book that made me, oh my gosh, I want to remember a lot of what he's saying. I want to remember a lot of these points. So that's where I first got into, marking my books, noting down these thoughts, because there's a lot of important pieces of information that meant a lot to me, and especially when it comes to books, you don't want to forget that information, like I said. So how do I keep my Commonplace book? Like, how do I incorporate it to my reading? How does one effectively do that? At the end of the day, we each have our own, methods, but I do have a pretty solid system, at least for myself, and it's really simple, and that's why I like it. I love simplicity and efficiency. That's the most important thing for me. So let's just say I'm using Meditations again for my example. I'm reading Meditations, right? And I come across something that's really, it stands out to me. It's really speaking to me for some reason. So, for example, here, I highlight it right there. I have it highlighted on this page. So a lot of people are against, writing in books. So I understand that too. It took me a lot to get used to just, screw it. I'll write in my books, whatever. I actually kind of like it. I like, kind of writing, having some wear and tear in my books. It really shows that they're loved. But, if you're totally against writing in your books or annotating in your books, totally normal, completely get it. You could even use a sticky note. I know there's a lot of people who use book tabs. As long as you have some sort of marking here that indicates that you have something noted or that you want to go back to, just mark it. Make sure it's marked. Yeah, that's step one. Step two is probably the most important, but most overlooked part. When you annotate books, or when you, whether it's highlight, sticky note, whatever it may be, you want to annotate it, but keep reading. Stopping entirely will break that rhythm and really just the overall enjoyment of reading whatever book that you're reading. So most important, something that a lot of people I don't think do, is annotate, but just keep going. Keep reading until you reach the end of your reading session. Then you can jump into your Commonplace book or journal, whatever it may be. But don't penalize yourself because you want to take so many notes and you want to take away so much from the book to the point where it becomes just, a chore, where you're just essentially studying. And studying can be fun, but it's only fun if you allow it to be. So let yourself enjoy the book still. Don't take away your reading experience. Just keep reading, but just all you have to do, make sure it's marked. That's it. Just make sure it's marked. Keep reading as long as you want. Once you reach the end of your reading session, then we can jump into the Commonplace book. So let's say at this point you're done reading session's over, you want to go reflect a little bit on what you read. That's where the Commonplace book comes in. That's where you want to pick this up. And I'm going to show you some examples I have just to give you an idea of what it looks like, or at least my quote unquote system. I think the biggest idea is to not have a system, do not care about aesthetics. Just the most important thing, jotting down the important information that you want to take away. So let me pull open a page here for you. So here is an example of just a couple passages that I wrote down. So here I have the author, I have the title, and then I have the passage number, and then the passage title. And then this right here is the quote itself that I wanted to reflect on and jot down. And then right here is where I provide my own thoughts and my own interpretation and understanding. And then same thing on this page, I do the same exact thing. So that is as simple as it gets. It's seriously just author, title, passage title, quote, and then your own thoughts. And another thing is there's no rules or criteria to go off of. It could be 2 sentences, it could be 2 pages, it could be half your notebook. It really doesn't matter as long as it's important to you. You don't want to over highlight, you don't want to over annotate, you don't want to take in too much details. You only want to take in the stuff that's really important to you. So here's another example right here. I have the author and the title, the name of the passage itself, and then the quote or the passage. This is Machiavelli from The Prince. And here are my thoughts all the way down here. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily look pretty, but it's efficient and you have it down permanently to reference rather than, oh my gosh, I thought this passage was really important, really something I wanted to remember, something I wanted to take away from. And if I didn't write it down, there's no way I'm going to remember that. There's absolutely no way. And while you certainly don't have to write your own interpretation, I always recommend it because it helps. It helps a lot. And you want to jot down and you want to remember the reason why you thought it was important, because there were a lot of times where I was reading, I highlight something and then I don't comment on it. And then I go back and it's like, why do I have this highlighted? This doesn't resonate with me today, but it must have in the past. So, and I have no clue why I commented on it. So that's why I end up providing my own thoughts and understanding to almost all the quotes I have, not every single one. And really, that's the key functions of it. There's nothing really more to it than that. And it sounds a little simple, a little too simple to be true. I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube that show all these, complex systems or something way more detailed than what I'm showing you today. But I think my goal is to show you how simple it really can be. It doesn't have to be detailed. It doesn't have to be a complicated or intimidating process. If anything, keeping this while I'm reading, it actually helps me engage more with the material itself. It helps me, enjoy the book more. I'm pretty much drilling the information into my head ×4 in a fun way. I don't feel like I'm dreading trying to even, process or remember what I'm reading. That is why this is so darn handy and so worth it. Yes, I can't lie to you guys. It does take a little bit of time because you are setting aside time to reflect. This is essentially a book to reflect. You gain so much from it. I mean, you don't ever have to worry about reading something or coming across something and just having it slip from your memory, because I know that's something that I suffer with pretty bad. I end up forgetting things very quickly if I don't really drill it in my head or, for this instance, write it down. And I think admittedly, there's just kind of a sense of pride of, you're really committing yourself to the material, to the book itself. And you have that sense of pride of keeping it here. You're really studying. You're studying, but making it fun. And then you're only remembering the stuff that you want to remember. You're only remembering the parts that really mean something to you. Because once again, like I stated before, you don't want to remember everything. I know there's some videos out there titled something along the lines of how I remember everything that I read. That would be a curse. That would be horrible. I would hate to feel that, just remembering every single detail. This bad boy right here will remember only the important things to you. But essentially, that's really all it is. So I hope this was somewhat beneficial. I know it was really quick, but that was kind of the idea, to show how simple this really can be. And especially if you're someone who really enjoys reading but suffers with remembering, this, I'm telling you, it's worth a try. Even if it doesn't work for you, at least you can say you tried it. If you have another method, definitely, keep doing your thing, whatever works. The most important thing is that you're remembering, you're enjoying it, and it's not all for nothing, right? You want to enjoy the process too. You don't want to keep something like this, but it somehow make you even more miserable, right? So whatever works for you, I just wanted to share because it's so simple, so effective, so efficient. It makes reading so much more rewarding, and it got me into reading even more. So yeah. Anyways, I'll end it here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.